Hello everyone, my name is Pranjal Ralegankar and I am a fourth year PhD student at University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. Today I want to talk about how a period of early cannibal domination can leave interesting signatures in the very small scale structure today. By early, I mean that is before Big Bang nucleosynthesis. So the outline of the talk is as follows. First, I will discuss the basic motivation as to why we are considering early cannibal domination. I will explain what I mean by cannibal there, of course. Then I will move on to my results, where I will describe the background homogeneous evolution of relevant quantities. Although the primary focus of my talk will be on the impact on cosmological perturbation. I will discuss how cannibal perturbations evolve and how they impact the dark matter fluctuations. Okay, so let's begin by answering the basic question of what is a cannibal, right? So in a standard model plasma, if the temperature falls below the mass of any particle, that said particle annihilates into its lighter species just by plain thermodynamics. However, now consider a hypothetical plasma. In that plasma, consider the lightest particle to have some mass. So once the temperature of that plasma falls below the mass of that lightest particle, the lightest particle has no one to annihilate into. However, if that lightest particle has strong number changing self interactions, it can annihilate into itself and maintain chemical equilibrium. So consider the temperature evolution of such a cannibal in the right hand side plot. Initially, when the temperature is larger than the mass, its temperature falls as 1 over A, just like that of radiation. However, as soon as the temperature falls below the fifth of its mass, the particle becomes non-relativistic and the number changing interactions cause the particle to annihilate and heats it itself up. This leads to the novel behavior of temperature going as 1 over log A. This novel cannibalism behavior ends when the cannibal reactions freeze out, which occurs when the cannibalizing reaction rate falls below the Hubble rate. After that point, cannibal just behaves like a cold matter with its temperature going as 1 over A square. So in this study, we will see that this freeze out scale, A freeze out, critically determines the important features of dark matter power spectrum. Okay, so we discussed what a cannibal is. Now, is this cannibal naturally realized? Well, indeed it is. All we need is a decoupled sector with a mass gap and the lightest particle to have number changing self interactions. Now, a decoupled sector is easily realized in lots of hidden sector theories, which are already well motivated to explain dark matter abundance today. And you can also have a cannibal in such hidden sectors if you assume that the lightest particle in that hidden sector has strong self interactions. For example, consider like pi 4 scalar field, which can have easily have 3 to 2 number changing processes. Or you can have glue balls after some SUN confinement, and these glue balls also naturally have strong number changing self interactions to be a cannibal. Okay, so usually in hidden sector theories, they are weakly coupled with standard model plasma. So they are hard to probe in the colliders. However, the weak coupling of the hidden sectors enable them to have gravitational impact in the early universe cosmology. In particular, if the hidden sector becomes non-relativistic, then it evolves like matter and it can lead to an early period of matter domination before Big Bang nucleosynthesis. Such early period of matter domination, we know, enhances the dark matter fluctuations on those very small scales, and those enhanced dark matter fluctuations can form microhalos. And these microhalos are very interesting because we can potentially probe them maybe by microlensing or maybe by looking for dark matter annihilation signals. So what no one has done till now is study the impact of cannibal dominated era. Right? Since we just saw that cannibals are naturally realized in hidden sector, what can what is equally natural to happen is for hidden sector to cause a cannibal dominated era before Big Bang nucleosynthesis. So in this work, I answer that question. In particular, I look at how the dark matter power spectrum has the features of cannibal particle properties imprinted on them. I also look at the kind of microhalos that are produced in such a theory, but I only use linear cosmological perturbation theory for that. Of we of course require detailed N-body simulations to get the exact distribution of microhalos today, but that is future work. Okay, so let me begin by discussing the background cosmology of a cannibal domination scenario. So before that, let's look at lambda CDM cosmology. Here we have radiation domination, dark matter forms maybe from some reaction in standard model plasma, then Big Bang nucleosynthesis, and so on and so forth. However, we don't really know what happens before Big Bang nucleosynthesis. All of that is just a conjecture. What can happen is that in hidden sector cosmology, we have two plasmas, standard model plasma and hidden sector plasma. Both of them are decoupled from each other and have different temperatures. Hidden sector plasma may be populated by some mechanism directly from standard model or maybe from asymmetric reheating. Details of that are not important. That is just the initial condition and a pre-parameter of a model. Same way, dark matter is formed from some mechanism in hidden sector plasma. Again, we remain agnostic of the exact mechanism. What we study is how that hidden sector plasma causes cannibal domination. Of course, such a period of cannibal domination must end before Big Bang nucleosynthesis. Okay, so let's now zoom in on how the cannibal domination era can occur. Here, I will consider that dark matter has already been populated, and all standard model hidden sector and dark matter are chemically decoupled from each other. I consider that only cannibal remains in the hidden sector plasma now, and here is the evaluation of the densities. As you can see, dark matter just goes as 1 over a cube, but initially in this plot I have cannibal density to be subdominant to that of standard model. However, after cannibal becomes non-relativistic, it dilutes slower than that of standard model radiation and can overcome standard model radiation density to cause a period of matter domination as seen here. Now, because freeze out of cannibal reactions has already occurred, the yellow shaded region is exactly identical to early matter dominated era. And we know that dark matter fluctuations are enhanced during that time. Now I will show how exactly the cannibal properties are imprinted on those dark matter fluctuations. Do so, let me first look at a simpler scenario where cannibal density is always dominant over standard model radiation density. Here, there are two key scales which determine the perturbations. The first is the co-moving horizon size, but the second and the more important one is the cannibal genes horizon. The cannibal gene scale, you can see, is increasing before A freeze out, but after that it decreases. This is because initially the number changing interactions keep the cannibal plasma hot and thermal pressure is strong. However, after the reactions freeze out, cannibal plasma starts to cool as cold matter. Temperature goes as 1 over A square, and that's why the gravitational forces start winning over the thermal pressure. Now, because of this interesting shape of the cannibal genes horizon, we can divide the Fourier modes into two classes. The first class are those modes which enter the cannibal genes horizon at some point. As you can see in the bottom panel, the cannibal density perturbations oscillate while the mode is inside the cannibal genes horizon in the top panel. After the mode exists, the cannibal density perturbation grows as uh, linearly with scale factor, as we expect in matter domination. Now, dark matter perturbation has an interesting evolution. It stays stagnant while the cannibal density perturbation is oscillating. Only when the cannibal density perturbations start to grow, that cannibal particles form these gravitational wells, and dark matter particles fall into those gravitational wells, and thus we see an increase in dark matter perturbation density. So basically, the cannibal density drives the growth in dark matter perturbation density. Now, the second class of Fourier modes are those modes which never enter this cannibal gene scale, shown as the red dashed line above. Now, for those modes, they experience the cannibal as cold matter because they don't see the Cannival self interactions. Hence, in the bottom panel, we can see that the both dot dash and solid red line have the same evolution because Cannival and dark matter are evolving just in the same manner. Finally, we can plot the dark matter transfer function, which is comparing the dark matter density perturbations after matter radiation equality to those dark matter density perturbation in which there was no Cannival domination. That is in standard lambda CDM cosmology. So in the top right panel, I show that transfer function in an inverted way. X-axis is the transfer function and y-axis is the Fourier modes. This allows us to see what kind of background those Fourier modes experience in the central top panel. For example, we can easily see that the oscillations in the transfer function are caused due to the modes which enter the Cannival Jeans horizon. An interesting point to note here is that the dark acoustic oscillations are caused purely by the gravitational couplings between the Cannival and the dark matter. In normal other cases, we typically have dark matter which has direct kinetic coupling with the relativistic bath, which gives dark acoustic oscillations. Okay. Another interesting feature we can easily see from such a configuration of plot is that we can directly tell what determines the peak Fourier wave number. Here, the peak Fourier wave number is determined by the maximum of Jeans horizon, which roughly occurs at 2 of A freeze out. So we can say that the Cannival self-attraction, when those decouple, directly influence the peak enhancement in the dark matter transfer function. Okay, till now, all of these figures we have seen for a scenario where Cannival density is initially dominant over that of standard model radiation density. However, we can also have this other scenario where it is initially subdominant to that of standard model radiation density, but eventually comes to dominate afterwards. In this case, the relevant scale is not the Jeans horizon, but it is the sound horizon which is relevant. This is because during radiation domination, that is before ADOM, there is no gravitational force to which thermal pressure should counter. Only so the sound horizon determines which modes oscillates and which mode do not. So for example, in the bottom panel, you can see that the blue dash line, which enters the sound horizon, undergoes oscillations, whereas the red dash line has Cannival perturbations grow monotonically. Same way as in the last time, we can plot the transfer function of dark matter perturbations. And again, we can intuitively see directly what determines the peak Fourier wave number of the transfer function. Here, the peak Fourier wave number is determined by the Cannival sound horizon and not the Jeans scale. And it is maximized just before Cannival domination occurs. This work is yet to come and we will soon put this out on arXiv. Okay, so till now we have seen two qualitatively different transfer functions. One has Cannival, which dominates the universe during freeze out, while the other has standard model radiation. We have seen that the peak Fourier wave numbers are given by seemingly two different scales. However, I would like to point out that these two different scales have the same physics governing them. That is, it is the freeze out when the Cannival reactions freeze out that primarily determines both the peak Fourier wave numbers here. Although in the right side, there is also some logarithmic modulation due to the period of radiation domination between freeze out and Cannival domination. So, okay, why this stress on the peak Fourier modes of this transfer function? This is because this enhanced dark matter fluctuations are going to collapse at some point and form microhalos. And the peak scales determine the basic features of those microhalos. For example, the peak Fourier wave number decides the mass of the microhalos, typical mass of the microhalos, while the peak enhancement in the transfer function determines how much central densities those microhalos have, right? Typically, we expect microhalos to have TK peak power cube times denser than the microhalos in standard cosmology. Okay, now I will show what we expect the the typical mass scales of our microhalos. Here is the plot. I have plotted the masses of microhalos we expect and the peak transfer function over mass of cannibal in x-axis and heat temperature on the y-axis. As you can see, I have set some parameters in the top left side. Alpha C determines the cannibal self-interaction rate. Here, alpha C is some dimensionless quantity. And basically, when alpha C is less than 1, we can assume that dark matter particle model is perturbative. Xi I is the initial temperature ratio between cannibal and standard model. And we can see that these four parameters, mass of cannibal, the heat temperature, which is governed by the decay width of the cannibal, alpha C, and Xi I, these are the four key pre-parameters of a model, which we can change. And you can also see that the parameter space is not exactly free, it is bounded. The lower bound is because the heat temperature cannot ruin Big Bang nucleosynthesis. We can't have heat temperature too small. The vertical boundary is because we require the cannibal freeze out to occur after cannibalism begins. And the diagonal bound is because we require cannibal decays to occur after cannibal freeze out occurs. This is because, like you can see in parameter space above that, we don't get any interesting enhancement and is not really relevant for our studies. And I would also like to point out that in the figure, we just showed its variation with mass of cannibal and heat temperature. However, the features of microhalos or the transfer function also depend on cannibal self-interaction as shown in the bottom right text box, where I show the rough analytical dependence of expected mass of microhalos. Notice that the mass of microhalos linearly depend on the coupling of cannibal. In particular, if we have larger self-interaction, we can expect larger microhalo masses. Okay, and finally, we can also vary the initial densities. In the left panel, which I was talking till now, I had that scenario had cannibal density always dominant during the freeze out of cannibal reactions. In the right, I changed the initial density so that standard model is the one which is dominating at a freeze out. And as I discussed before, the two things which are different in those scenarios is that the peak scale is determined by different scales. However, that analytical dependence of the peak features on M and T rate is not exactly visible in the contour plots in the right side. What is visible is the big shrinkage in the parameter space. That is because now we require the cannibal decays to occur after cannibal density comes to dominate the universe. Whereas in the left, cannibal density was always dominant, so that was not a requirement. This, while the left side we have already published on arXiv, the right side we will soon, the work on the right side we will soon put out on arXiv. Okay, so let me just summarize what I have discussed till now. We saw that cannibal is a particle that can annihilate itself and heat itself up and lead to this interesting logarithmic evolution of temperature. We saw that cannibal can be naturally realized in lots of hidden sector theories. And such a cannibal can easily cause an early matter dominated era before Big Bang nucleosynthesis, as shown here in the yellow shaded region. Finally, this cannibal-led matter domination enhances the dark matter fluctuations, and the peak enhancement in the dark matter fluctuations is governed by when the cannibal reactions freeze out. So cannibal particle properties are imprinted on dark matter fluctuations in that way. I also show how the peak features or the key features of the transfer function depend on the particle parameters of cannibal. So we have a direct map between them. And finally, I want to flag that we have not performed n-body simulation. So what we are saying of microhalo estimates are just estimates. In reality, it will be much more complex. However, our work is an important precursor to perform such n-body simulations. This is because n-body simulations are very expensive And from our work, we can tell exactly which parameter space are interesting to perform those embodied simulations for. Thank you.